Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you all are doing well. I just had an appointment with the physical therapist or the myofunctional specialist. So basically a kind of like a mouth and speech therapist. And this is actually somebody that I saw prior to my jaw surgery, actually way back when I was just getting my braces on or getting ready to get braces on and kind of still researching the jaw surgery. And she was the one that actually diagnosed me as being tongue-tied. So my orthodontist had sent me to her to get that checked out. She had me go to a dentist to get a frenectomy done, to get a tongue tie release. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I had a whole video on this as well. But she was somebody I worked with before my jaw surgery. And then I went back and actually saw her just a couple months before I left to go to Spain to have my surgery to get kind of a pre-op evaluation done and just have her check like my range of motion. She had me do different exercises and we recorded everything so that we could see after surgery where I was at and if I was sort of matching up with what kind of movement and symmetry and everything that I had prior to the surgery. So I had been thinking about getting another session in with her or just checking in to touch base and kind of see where I was at now that I am almost 6 months post-op. And she actually reached out to me just to see how things were going because she was really curious to see kind of what the results of my surgery were and how I felt everything was working at this point. And I'm so glad that she got in touch and that I was able to schedule an appointment with her because she definitely picked up on some things that were like a little bit concerning to her at this point, and some like asymmetries that she was noticing and just some mobility issues that I was having, especially on this right side, which has always felt a little bit tighter ever since my surgery. I feel like this right side still looks a little bit puffier, but it's definitely tighter. And when she had me doing some of these exercises, at times it almost was like there was no movement on this right side compared to the left. And it wasn't really something that I was super aware of. I'm obviously not like looking at myself in the mirror necessarily when I'm talking or eating or like doing certain movements. So it maybe wasn't something that I have picked up on as much, but she definitely felt like this is an area I need to work on and that it was really good that I came in now before I've developed any kind of bad habits or like weird movement patterns that could ultimately be a problem down the road or just a lot harder to deal with if I had gone too far into my recovery without working on some of these things. So the biggest thing she did notice was, like I said, just asymmetry. So when I was doing certain exercises or she had me like eat a cracker and kind of how I was chewing, that I have so much more movement on my left side and the right side is a lot tighter. And so she has given me several exercises to do where I have to sit like in front of a mirror to do them and really make sure that I'm like stretching out this right side and getting as symmetrical as I can and just really focusing on getting that movement back. And hopefully by doing some of these exercises, then we'll start to kind of loosen up the muscles and the fascia and just the tissue on this right side and give me more mobility. She also really wants me to get a better range of motion in terms of opening. Where I'm at right now, she said she really would like to see almost double that, which I'm not surprised. I have felt like I haven't had great mobility in terms of how wide I can open my mouth. And even with just doing some of the basic stretching exercises that I got from my surgeon, like only kind of getting so far with that. So I'm hoping that if I'm diligent about doing these exercises, that I'll start to see some progress over the next couple of months. I am really glad though that I did check in with the physical therapist at this point in my recovery. And if you have had this surgery yourself, if you're going to have it, or if maybe you've been recovering from it for a while and you're feeling like there's a plateau or you're getting a little bit stuck or just kind of feeling like you're not making as much progress at this point, I would highly recommend seeking out a physical therapist or a myofunctional specialist, maybe somebody that your orthodontist or surgeon can refer you to, just to get an evaluation done, make sure that there aren't any weird movement patterns or major asymmetries that could be problematic. And I'm really hoping that if I put some time and effort into working on these exercises and paying more attention to how I am moving, especially on this right side, that I can get more mobility back, and probably also maybe get greater opening and just kind of keep loosening everything up a little bit more than I have been able to so far. One other thing that she picked up on is actually something I started noticing when I've been doing these videos and like watching the footage, is that I tend to have a little head tilt to the right, which again is probably just because I am tighter on this side. So like all the muscles and the fascia are tighter on this right side, and it probably just kind of makes it feel more comfortable for me to slightly tilt to the right. So I'm trying to pay more attention to that and like keep myself straight. It's funny because when I am actually straight, I feel like I'm tilting to the left, but I'm actually like more centered. So I need to pay a little more attention to that. And just, again, I want to be careful that I'm not falling into movement patterns and creating habits that are going to be harder to undo later. So I really want to get on top of it now, be diligent about doing these exercises, and see what kind of progress I can make over the next month or so. I will be checking back in with her in 4 to 6 weeks to see what kind of progress I have made and what our next steps are. But I definitely do have some homework to do over the next several weeks, and it will be interesting to see where I can get and what kind of progress I can make if I put the effort in. In the meantime, I will keep you guys posted on how things are going, how things are progressing with these exercises. We are also coming up on the 6-month mark since my surgery. So I'd like to do kind of a good overall update or kind of recap of like everything that has happened, where I'm at now, maybe things that I have learned throughout this recovery process so far. If you have any questions about the physical therapy or the exercises or just the recovery in general, definitely leave any questions. I'm happy to answer them here. And thank you as always for continuing with me and continuing to watch. And I will see you guys next time with another update. Thank you as always for continuing